Everybody. This video is going to be the last one for the install series that I know of. The last time I ended up missing uh, one video, and that was the install for the Python version on Windows. And in order to get that running, I had to, as I did with my other videos, I had to set up a VM since I run Windows, but I'm pretty much already configured. So I wanted to start fresh with a clean install of Windows 10, which pretty much anybody should be on by this point. Uh, Nothing else has been installed. It's completely clean, and I will say that I have already. Let me full screen this so you don't get confused at the bottom. Okay. There we go. So I already have the files that we need downloaded. This was just kind of to save some time on the video. It should be pretty obvious where to get them. If you want to look here, here are the requirements. And if you notice that Python 2.7 is saying that it's only required if you need to build sparstat. Most people probably won't need to. I personally don't. So on my running system, I don't have the old version of Python installed. I only have 3.5. But we're going to do this, and we'll install both, but it will still run if all you have is 3. And I'll go over that here in a minute. So let's get this thing started, and we'll do pretty much piece by piece. I am going to have to type in some of this because I didn't get it pre-done like I did in my other videos. So we will bring that down. Okay. So on the desktop, we're going to make a folder. We'll call it SuperR Kitchen. Makes it easy. So inside of that, hold down left shift and right click, open command window. So what we're going to need is from here, not doing Linux, we're doing Windows, which, look at that, there's only 2 lines. So don't worry about the first one, because if you do it my way, notice if you right click, there's no terminal. If you hold down left shift and right click, you get the command window. There is a registry edit that makes that happen all the time, but some of you may not want to mess with that, so I'm not going to include that in this video, but you can do a search for it. It's available, and it does work on Windows 10. So let's come on down here. Come on, stop that. My VM is going a little crazy on me, but just bear with it. Okay. So in here, so I'm going to paste it in, and then obviously with Python version, you need a GIT lab username and password. So you'll need an account. So obviously GIT is not available. So first thing we need to do is come down here and install GIT. Yes, okay. We don't really need it on the desktop. This is just kind of a background thing, so we'll just install it where it is. Yes, we need it from the Windows command prompt, unless you're going to use the bash shell, but let's not complicate things. Just use it from command prompt. Open SSL library. I prefer to do checkout as is and commit as is. It keeps things, well, literally as is. Just make your life a whole lot easier and just leave it this way. Okay. I prefer the default console personally. System caching, cache manager. Yes, we'll enable symlinks just so that we're compatible with as much stuff as possible. Even if it's not just for the kitchen, you may do some other things, so compatibility is good. And I know it may seem like there's just a ton of options in here, and trying to read each one and understand it, and then you maybe have to Google it. Sometimes it's just harder to pick than a broken nose, but this should be pretty straightforward. Just kind of select the options that I had, and you should be good to go. I'm not going to speed up the installs. They should go pretty quick. My system's running an SSD, so I have NVMe in my system, and then uh, everything's running off of that on a single card, so it should be good. We don't need to launch it, don't need to view it. Okay, so now obviously now that GIT is a thing, again, not happening. Okay, so let's go on down to Java, since obviously we're going to need that. Install, yes. While that's installing, which it won't take hardly any time, I'm going to restart this. Whoops. Doesn't save my history. That kind of figures. There we go. Credentials manager. Now this is where you need to add in your sorry, I told you my VM's kind of freaking out on me. But okay, so credentials for GIT lab. So in this case, okay. So everything should be in, and it's sitting right here. Now, the way that it ended up working for me, I don't know if it was designed like this or not, but if you take that yes, done, and you just have the kitchen in its own folder, or just keep it named like that, it seems to work. I tried to rename it before, and it didn't work for me. It may not care now, but just for the purpose of this, we'll leave it like that. Okay, so on here, we've done uh, GIT, and obviously there's a Windows download link, so you don't have to go searching for it and wonder. Java 8, I think we're update 144. Yes, 144. Okay. So now we're going to just do Python, in this case, 3.5 or higher. So we're doing 3.6.2, which is the current. I don't really care about documentation. You can pretty much leave everything else. You definitely need pip. As you can tell here, pip 3. It is required, so install for all users, at least in my case. Yes to environment variables. We don't need debugging anything. And note this path. Actually, we're going to copy this. So yes, we're going to install. And go up here. Now, just with this, I should be able to run the kitchen. It should at least start. And we will have to download some tools in a language pack, but we'll do that here in just a second. Come on, I don't like sitting idle in the middle of a video. Kind of thing kills me. Now, being in a VM, everything is slower, so take that into consideration. Everything will run much faster if you run it on your system, not in a VM. But for setup purposes, I'm just showing you how to get it running here. Come on. There you go. In this case, because we don't know how deep the directories are going to run when you do an extract for different ROMs, so yes, we are going to disable the path length limit. Really, you're probably not going to run into much of an issue. So I would say it's pretty safe to disable this in this case. All right. So we come up here and run SuperR. Wow, is this VM ever slow? There we go. Python 3 is not recognized as an internal external command. So one thing I remember that I had to do, and this was pointed out a couple times, is remember I told you to go to that folder here? The Python executable here, we need to rename to Python 3. Now don't worry, it still works. It's still Python, but this is differentiating between Python executable for 3.6.2 and the executable for 2.7, which both have the same name. It's still python.exe. So how it used to work, it got confused and it would default to one or the other, but it wouldn't be able to use both. So in this case, we're changing it to Python 3, and now it knows the difference between 3, which is obviously 3.5 or higher, and Python is just straight 2.7 or lower. So now if I do this again, I should be able to look at that. So that was an important change. You're going to have to change it or it won't work. All right, we'll let that install. So back in here, we're done with this now. We close that out. Now I'm not going to do any ROM extraction in this particular video, but if you'd like to install Python 2.7, you can do that as well. But for the majority of the work in this, Python 3 will do you just fine. So in this case, set up with 1. Yes, we need to download the Windows tools. Blah, blah. Okay, and we're in. So now you have a functional version of SuperRs Kitchen, current. This is 3.054, just came out today on the 29th. And that is really all it takes to get it up and running in Windows. So all you needed really, unless you're doing a sparsed out ROM, which again, you probably won't be, is GIT, JRE, you don't need the JDK. So just JRE 8 update 144, and in our particular case, Python 3.6.2. 3.5 will work, 3.6.1, but there's no reason, just use the current version. So that's all there is to it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If it helped you, let me know, like, subscribe, head on over to XDA and check out SuperRs Kitchen. If you're doing some ROM work, this thing is definitely a lifesaver. It's one of the best programs I've ever used and has helped me a ton. Believe me, this will make your ROM building woes disappear faster than last week's paycheck, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I hope to see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I will try and answer what I can. Have a good one, guys.